Welcome to PacWest Magazine, the radio show. The show about our exciting Pacific West Conference. The PacWest is made up of NCAA Division II universities from Arizona and Utah to California and Hawaii. It's the most beautiful and diverse athletic conference in the entire NCAA. This is Commissioner Bob Hogue, inviting you to join our outstanding coaches, student athletes, and administrators as we talk about the great excitement in the PacWest. Now here's Assistant Commissioner Tom DiCamillo, live from our studios in Santan, Arizona.
It's lunchtime here in Arizona, and you're listening to PacWest Radio. Tom DiCamillo, Joe Carrero, live in the Santan Valley.
Live. It's always good to be alive.
It is. It is. And we're creeping closer and closer to the start of the 2013-14 athletic season. And this fall, PacWest, 13 colleges and universities throughout the western area of the United States. And I like to say the Pacific Rim. And have you checked out that movie, Pacific Rim? Have you seen the
Not yet.
Coach said it's an awesome movie.
Is
I'll
it?
tell you what, if you like that kind of science fiction thing, it was. I went to see it a couple weeks ago, and it blew me away. I love stuff like that, and growing up as a kid, if you're a fan of like the Godzilla movies, if you like Iron Man, Independence Day, Transformers, and Godzilla movies, that's what that movie is.
Oh, right on.
And if you don't, then you're not.
Hey, I just
like
rented G.I. Joe from the Red Box.
I haven't seen that, but it's a pretty cool movie. But no chance of, at least that we know, of monsters showing up in the Pacific Rim in Hawaii or the coast of California.
That'd be a good thing.
It'd be a good thing. The only monsters are the athletic teams in the PacWest, which have been dominating this year, and we're looking for another dominating season. Every year, coaches turn over for different reasons. Coaches advance and move on. Sometimes a change is needed. But this year in the PacWest, we've had a lot of changes in the coaching ranks, and especially in soccer. And today we're going to talk to two of the newest coaches in the conference. First of all, Tara Koleski is the new head soccer coach for the women's program at Dominican University of California. And then later on in the program, we're going to talk to Lance Thompson, the director of soccer at the University of Hawaii at Hilo. And Lance isn't a stranger to the PacWest. He used to be the coach of Notre Dame Dana Murr, moved on to a couple other locations, and now is coaching the men's and women's teams at Hawaii Hilo. Tara Koleski has had a lot of success over her career in coaching at the Division II and Division I level. She actually was a club coach here in Arizona, but actually it's kind of funny. I saw the release come out that Tara was named the head coach at Dominican, and I actually worked with Tara. She was the head coach at Westchester University back when I was the sports information director there in the mid-2000s, so I had an opportunity to work for a couple of years, and she did a tremendous job with the program. So
it says the person we are calling is not accepting calls at this time.
oh no, really?
Perfect timing.
So we'll let's
Maybe you can shoot her a text or something.
I'll try that. Maybe we should give Lance a call first.
Absolutely.
And take a look and see if Lance might join us a little bit early, and I will see as we're talking about soccer. One of the things coming up too over the next 3 weeks in the Pacific West Conference is we do the preseason all-conference teams, and the coaches currently are nominating, and we'll get ready to vote on them. And it's our media day, and we will do that over the next 3 Thursdays, starting next week with volleyball next Thursday, and then the 2 Thursdays after that will be men's and women's soccer. And the coaches of the PacWest will have several of them on. We'll talk about their teams, their players, their upcoming schedules, and that will dominate throughout the rest of the month of August as we gear up for the upcoming season. So right now, Joe's going to try to see if Lance Thompson is available, and we'll try to get a new number for Tara Koleski and talk to her maybe a little bit later in the show. And it's been a great summer. The teams are really gearing up in the Pacific West Conference, and we're going to have, and good, it looks like we have Lance Thompson's going to join us a little bit early. And then we'll try to get Tara on the phone. Lance, welcome to PacWest Radio.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, Lance, it's been a number of years. I know that, welcome back to the conference. When I first started with the PacWest, you were at NDNU as a soccer coach, and now you're back at the University of Hawaii at Hilo. And let's talk a little bit. Hawaii Hilo is going under a transformation. They used to have part-time coaches, and now you're the director of soccer, overseeing both programs. Talk about what it's like coming back to the PacWest and what it's like at Hawaii Hilo.
Yeah, let me tell you, has the landscape changed over those years? The small conference of 6 teams is now, I guess, more than doubled. So, and I'm very familiar with the new members of the conference, and it's exciting for sure. The role's going to be very similar to what it was when I was at Notre Dame. So I think that experience at Notre Dame has really prepared me to take on this, this new challenge that's ahead of me at UH Hilo.
Talk a little bit about being the coach of both programs, because it's demanding, and it's not just the double the work that you're coaching 2 teams, you're recruiting for both, but when you're coaching a men's team, it's very different from coaching a women's team, isn't it? You're laughing.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but it is different. It is different.
It's completely different. What they have in common is their love and passion to compete in the sport of soccer, and they obviously love athletics, and that's where it stops. The communication, the interaction is going to be entirely different. I think not only the experience at Notre Dame is going to help me, but I also think being a parent of 1 son and 2 daughters has also prepared me very well for this type of position. I understand body language and tone with one of the teams could have an entirely different impact than it would on the other team. So it's again, I think there's a lot to say just from being a parent of a boy and a couple girls is also preparing me, let alone my experience with Notre Dame.
Yeah, being a parent of a 20-something male and a teenage girl is vastly different. And it is night and day. So I think the girl's much more mature though at this age. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, let's talk about that a little bit. Your experience at Notre Dame and being in the PacWest conference has doubled in size. I believe you went on. You were coaching with Cal State San Bernardino for a while. Is that correct?
I just left Cal State San Bernardino, where I was a men's coach. Yes.
So now you have you got a lot of experience at Division II, coaching in California. How does it help you being at Hawaii Hilo, and you go back and look at your days at NDNU, where most of the conference was in Hawaii at that time. So now you're at Hilo, where all your trips are going to be in an airplane, but you had that experience going the other way. So how does that kind of help you going forward in managing the program?
Yeah, I think just the fact that I'm familiar with the opposition. There's some great coaches in this conference. A lot of newly hired coaches, and they've been put to the challenge of turning around those programs. There's coaches that have been there for a long time that have been extremely successful in their previous conference and the NAIA. The travel, as you kind of hit on a bit, is definitely something I'm going to have to figure out quickly because I know there's a big SoCal trip this year. For 9 days, I want to say, or more, against some very, very stiff competition on both the men and the women. I think some of that is, I'm going to learn as I go, to be quite frank. But if I'm not mistaken, I got to go back in the memory bank a little bit. I think that my first year at Notre Dame, every road trip for me would have been a flight, because I think in the conference, I think back then, Grand Canyon, And then we flew to the Hawaii schools because I don't think Academy of the Arts in Dominican may have been in the conference in 2007. So that would be very similar, I think, with the travel that I had back at Notre Dame. And preparing these teams to compete. So, again, I think there's going to be a lot of similarity for me. I feel a lot like I'm kind of coming home. And my home has been renovated and improved. So, with the growth, it's like we added some additions to the home with the growth of the membership for the PacWest. So, it's an exciting time for sure. Lots of challenges ahead. I don't know them all, to be quite frank. I just landed in Oahu last night. And my family and I should be headed over to the Big Island here in the next few days.
Is it? Do I understand right that your family, you guys, do you have roots in Hawaii?
I do. My beautiful wife has family in Oahu, and there's some extended family on the Big Island. It's been her dream to get back home, as she says. We landed last night, and she kind of reached over, grabbed my hand, and says, "Honey, we're home." So she was ecstatic about the news, as well as I, and we're excited to kind of get to work.
I know that the Dexter Irvin, the AD at Hawaii Hilo, worked for a long time to get this position full time and have a director of soccer and the coaches did a good job previously over the years. But having part time coaches, you kind of in any setting, you tend to have a lot of turnover. How much does it bring stability to this program to have a full time person there all the time devoted to soccer?
Yeah, and what I'm learning as as I'm slowly learning the ins and outs of, how UH Hilo operates and works, that could have been the sticking point for them, without a doubt. And so for them to have somebody there full-time, fully engaged, fully committed, where there's no possible other outside, distractions that would be pulling them away, maybe another job or other employment, I think that could be the difference. And I remember those teams at UH Hilo. Travis Clark on the women's side had an extremely competitive program back in 06, 07, 08. And I remember Coach Inui and Cam Camarina. Those were the men's coaches back when I was coaching at Notre Dame. Again, those teams were all capable of winning the conference. So I always ask myself, what would have happened if they were full-time when they were always knocking on the door when they were part-time anyway? So I think this is a huge step by the university. I'm obviously excited to be the first full-time director of soccer there. And, I believe we're going to do some good things.
Recruiting-wise, obviously coming in now and at this time of the year in the last few weeks, it's late in the game recruiting-wise. How do you plan as a coach? You take the pieces that you have, do the best you can with it, and then kind of look for the future and planning your recruiting season for next year? Is that the best that you can kind of do with that situation?
Well, that's an interesting topic. I've been working the phones frantically over the last week to reach out to some, to my network. I did my best to get a pulse on this roster, over this past week to kind of see what we might still be in need of. And so, even as we speak, I'm still frantically working to see if we can put some pieces of the puzzle together. I always talk about the most important time of my life is right now, because this is where I'm at, and this is where we should be focused. So, not that I don't look forward to the future, but right now, the 2013 season is upon us, and we are definitely going to put our best foot forward to be extremely competitive here in the next couple of weeks. So, we're looking for now, and so the phone calls have all been related to how can we find some student athletes that are the right fit for UH Hilo academically as well as athletically as we prepare for this upcoming 2013 season.
You think it's an advantage that you can pick up the phone and talk to a potential student athlete and say, how would you like to play soccer in Hawaii?
You know, I found out very quickly it is a nice conversation to have. You know,
I figured.
It's very, very appealing. So I'm excited about the recruiting process for Hilo. I think, you know, something magical is going to happen for us very, very soon. So I think there's a lot of great draws to the university, to the program that a lot of potential student athletes would be kind of curious and excited about.
Well, Lance, we welcome you back to the PacWest. You have a great reputation as a coach, and when many people saw that you were hired by Hawaii Hilo, I think there was some nervousness with the other schools and their soccer programs around the conference. It's going to make for great competition. So good luck to you and your family there, especially the opportunity to go back home. And we really look forward to seeing Hawaii Hilo and how the program grows over the next couple of years.
Okay, thanks a lot, and thanks for the time.
All right. Lance Thompson, the head coach, director of soccer for the men's and women's program at the University of Hawaii Hilo. And now we actually got a corrected number on Tara Koleski, and Joe's going to dial her up. Again, Tara comes with a great resume. Coached at Westchester University for a couple of years, took the Golden Rams to the NCAA tournament. Coached at UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, Northern Iowa, and actually ran some club programs here in the state of Arizona for the last 5 years, been in this area. Actually, ironically, lived not too far from the studio, and actually didn't realize that until found out that she was back in the coaching circles at the Dominican University of California. So, no luck? What, voicemail? Okay, we'll try it one more time, and we'll see if we can catch up with her. And it's really great to have Lance Thompson back into the conference. I know that when he was hired, people around the conference did kind of say, "Wow, that's a great hire for Hawaii Hilo," as a person that can really help that program grow tremendously.
Hello, Tara.
So I think we have Tara on the line here, and she's going to join us for a few minutes here on PacWest Radio, the new head coach of the women's soccer program at Dominican University of California. So, and great, we're able to collect. Tara, we have Tara Koleski on the line. Tara, welcome to PacWest Radio.
Hi, Tom.
Tara, it's funny. It's been a long time. I know we were exchanging some emails, and I told the listeners that you had been at Westchester when I was there and did a great job with the program, taking the Golden Rams to the NCAA tournament, and I didn't realize that you were living in Queen Creek in the area where I lived until you moved to California. But we're glad you're in the conference.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's good to be back, and I can't believe I missed you there in Arizona.
It's funny. I want to talk to you before we start talking about Dominican. I do want to talk about Westchester just a little bit, because that was really a Division II program that was starting to grow. And when you were coaching there, the Golden Rams really took that jump to the NCAA tournament. From their experience there and at UMBC, what do you bring to Dominican?
I think, starting off at Westchester at the Division II level and just coming out of my playing career, obviously it was a great university and a great experience. And, the recruiting piece was something that I definitely needed to learn as a young coach. And then getting into the Division I, obviously I think recruiting is a pivotal component to building any program. So that experience is something that I'll be able to bring to Dominican, and definitely with my contacts from the East Coast to the South to the Midwest, and now here, in the last 3 years creating that. I think that will be important here as this program is going to start to grow. But over the last few years, I think the administration piece and the management and all those things you do behind the scenes as a coach was something that, I've had a lot of experience doing the last 2 years, and will help me even more so as a coach now.
When you look at the situation at Dominican, it's a program that the previous athletic director Terry Toomey really and the staff there really started to build, and then you have Brandon that has come in, the new AD, and he's got some great ideas, and you can see things moving rapidly under his leadership. And if you look at all the schools in the PacWest, and you look at Dominican, it's almost one of the ideal situations for a coach. New facilities, support from the administration, opportunity to grow. Is that what you saw when you accepted the job?
Yeah, I've been really impressed with the administration here. I've had a chance to even speak with the president of Dominican, and I think that the dedication that the leadership team has here was something that I was really overwhelmed with. Like as a coach, you're always there fighting for your program, but when you have a team, fighting for athletics and really wanting to make athletics a focal point of the university as well as the academics, that was a huge selling point, and made me want to get back in because there's such support here that, they're already building, they already have the facilities. They want to build better facilities. Academically, we have a lot to offer as a university. I think, the responsibility is definitely going to fall on me to improve the record and the overall program, but the tools are here and the university staff has been really welcoming and great, so I'm really excited.
When I recall the days that we were at Westchester, I remember a playoff game, and correct me if I'm wrong, was it at Franklin Pierce, an NCAA tournament? Is that where we went? And it was felt like it was 20 degrees outside that day when we were playing. Here in the PacWest, you won't have to worry about that, but there's a big difference in travel. And when you take a look at your schedule, trips to Hawaii, Southern California, Utah, is that something, obviously being at a place like Westchester, most of those games were in state, but your Division I experience, I'm sure you had more travel than that's more comparable to what you're going to experience this year.
At Division I, you do travel a lot. Westchester, we didn't. We don't have that big a travel schedule except for Hawaii this year at Dominican. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. So the way your schedule works out for the first year, you have your trip to Hawaii and then are home for the other matches. So you don't have that big journey, which is good for starting out.
Yeah, I was really fortunate to step into the program with that, and obviously it's definitely great to be able to go to Hawaii for the first year with the team, and I think it will be a good bonding experience with a new coach and a new team to be able to have those 10 days. But, it's demanding on the body to travel with the athletes, so it's something that, we'll have to be cautious of in the future. I know next year we go to Idaho as a big trip, but I think that's one thing that's a part of athletics, especially collegiate athletics, is they have to prepare. They have to know what it's going to take to travel, get their academics done, and perform on the field. So, having the experience, I think I'll be able to help them out with that. And at the Division II level, they will travel less than Division I, so it's not going to be as big a factor that you deal with at the Division I level.
Dominican recently became eligible through the transition now to participate in the NCAA postseason. Having that experience at another Division II school, and having that experience yourself as a player that you played at the University of Portland, is that something as a coach you want to give back to your players to get them that experience? To say, hey, look, I'm pushing you so that you can have this experience that I've had with other players, that I had myself, of what it's like to play in an NCAA tournament.
Yeah, definitely individually for me, that's a driving force when I'm coaching. I'm really competitive. I've played at the highest level, and I don't think that U.S. national team experience in Division II are on the same level, but I think just when you're in the game, accomplishing the most that you possibly can, and for us right now at Division II, it's getting to that NCAA tournament. And there's no feeling like it, and it's, a lot of energy, and when the players finally get to that point and they've been there and they know what it is, then that's the piece that will drive your program further. Not knowing what it feels like to be at the NCAA tournament or, what that actually means, they don't know that until they're there. And so we're going to fight, as hard as we possibly can to get there. And then when we do, then the program, that's going to be a part of the culture of the program. And so I think we're going to work hard to build that foundation for that culture to be a part of Dominican. But that will take a little bit. I mean, that was one thing with Westchester. The first time we ever made it to NCAAs, the girls never even knew what NCAAs were. And then now it's like, they have to go to NCAAs every year. It is a part of the culture. It's why people come there.
Does that help with recruiting? Does that make it feed on itself and make it easier for a coach to recruit when you get there the first time or you win a conference championship? You say, look, this is what our program's about. Come here and play.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, right now we're selling our goals and we're selling our dreams of where we want to be, and we're dedicated to the hard work of getting there. But once you get there, it's a different kind of player that you're also getting, and I think the program sells itself when you can prove, that you've attained your goals, and that will be our fight for the next couple of years, and take a couple of years for recruiting classes to come in and make an impact. But we'll have to look for those real, hard workers and put their head down and get it done kind of player until we get to that point.
The last few years you've been coaching, I think what I read was club programs here in Arizona, and I always got a sense that Arizona had really strong soccer, and that's where you're from originally. Is that a good description of Arizona? It's a really, really strong soccer?
That's a hard question. Only because I'm a loyal Arizona player, and I love Arizona. One of the biggest selling points of Dominican is that there's so much talent in California. So that in itself, it makes recruiting a little bit easier because you sit in a bed of players that are so talented. Arizona, they've improved soccer from when I was a kid. A lot of clubs have grown up, and I've been the director of coaching for Arizona Soccer Club the last 4 years, and I was a part of trying to change the culture in Arizona to develop players and to make players more attractive to be able to go out of state and compete. Are we competing in Arizona out of state, at the level we could? A couple of teams, a couple of clubs do, but not as a whole. But we still have good individual players within all the clubs there. So I'll definitely be coming home and finding some players. I know right now I'm looking at a couple of players from our ECNL Arizona teams and excited about their interest in Dominican. But, I think also there's limited exposure for Arizona players.
It's and I know we have about a minute left. One of the questions, and this is probably the toughest thing for a coach. We just had Lance Thompson on, who just got hired at Hawaii Hilo as director of soccer. You literally have just started, and you're getting ready to go into camp if you're not in camp already, and then your season's going to start. Obviously, you don't really have a chance to recruit this first year. So what is kind of the strategy as a coach coming into this situation?
I've been trying to get to know the players, and the next week I'll be getting to know them in individual meetings and getting to know the university. And, we can't bring in players this year, but I think we have, a good, talented pool coming back. And I think they'll have to get to know me. It will be definitely a transition period, but with the new coach, what I want to do is imprint on the program what my values are and what my coaching style is, and obviously make use of the talent that we have for this season. And, that will take some time, but I think with, the players and the genuine, interest in, getting better, it should be an easy transition.
Well, Tara, I appreciate you joining us, and it's great to have you in the league. And the only thing I regret is I didn't know that you were living in Queen Creek, where I lived for the last 4 years. But hopefully we'll see you. We do want, when you come back, we want to get you into the Man Cave studio here in Santan Valley. So when you come back, maybe for the holidays, we'll have you in studio.
Well, I look forward to that, Tom, and I will hopefully talk to you soon.
Sounds great. Tara Koleski, the head coach at Dominican University of California, joining us. It's always, when I saw the release come out from Dominican, Joe, and she was listed on there, I was like, I was like, wow, that's a good coach. That's a great hire. And then to find out she was literally living close to not far from the studio here. I had not been in contact with her for a number of years, but a terrific coach, and glad to see that she's in the conference. I'd like to thank Lance Thompson for joining us, new director of soccer at Hawaii Hilo. There'll be 2 excellent coaches in the PacWest. Next week, Volleyball Media Day, preseason all-conference team will be announced in the predicted order of finish next Thursday on PacWest Radio. For Joe Carrero, I'm Tom DiCamillo. Thanks for listening to PacWest Radio on KQCK Live in the Santan Valley.
Hi, this is Daniel, your host for Rock and Roll 101, every other Sunday at 5 on KQCK.